Good morning. Hi, it's Coach D. How are you guys doing today? I am so happy to see you, kind of in this virtual way that we have to see each other right now. So, today I have picked the story of Ferdinand. And some of you may know this story. Some of you may have seen the movie. They made a movie from this book. So, we're going to read the book. And Ferdinand is by Monroe Leaf, and the drawings are by Robert Lawson. And Robert Lawson is an illustrator. That means he's an artist. He did the drawings for a lot of other books also. We call that prolific. He's done a lot of work. He's prolific. He's done many things. So, let's get started. This book was also for one of my children. This was another book that was for Christopher, my son, and it was given to him from his grandparents in 1997. So another 1997, long ago book. All right, are you sitting up? Are you sitting up straight so the oxygen can go to your brain? Are you alert? Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay. Here we go. Once upon a time in Spain, look at that beautiful castle. There was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. Look at Ferdinand, he's so little. We see lots of little bulls and cows where we live, don't we? In Florida. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. Look at those guys playing. Do you see something down here at the bottom? You see that little turtle guy? Look at these guys up here. They're butting their heads together. But not Ferdinand. Where is he going? He's going somewhere alone. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. Ferdinand just likes to sit and smell the flowers. He's a little different from the other guys, huh? Look at all those flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. There he goes. He's going up to his favorite spot. Do you have a favorite spot? Is there somewhere special you like to go? Maybe in your house or out of your house? It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Now this is a little silly because see the corks on the tree? A cork tree doesn't really grow corks already made, but the illustrator, the artist, had some fun with that. And look, he's looking there, the other bulls down there, the young bulls butting their heads. But that's not what Ferdinand likes to do. He just likes to sit and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. There's his mother. She's got a cowbell around her neck. That's her bell. And she's looking up at the top of the hill. And Ferdinand's sitting under the cork tree. Do you think he's lonesome? What do you think? Sitting alone under the cork tree? Or do you think he's doing exactly what he wants to be doing and he's perfectly content? Content means happy and at peace. I think he's pretty content. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He's telling his mommy what he likes, that he doesn't want to do what all the other bulls are doing. But parents worry sometimes, so she's checking in. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. There he is up there. And she's walking away. She says, all right, I checked in, he's okay. I just noticed her cowbell, it says mother on it. She says mother. Isn't that a cute detail? As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. Look at Ferdinand, he grew up. This is when he was 1 month and 3 months and 1 year old and 2 years old. And he has grown into a big bull. See that vulture up there? He's sitting, looking at how tall Ferdinand is. Maybe they're friends. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. So these are all the other bulls. Look at their boo-boos. They have bandages on their boo-boos. These are the other bulls that Ferdinand grew up with, and they're looking at a sign for the bullfight in Madrid, and they want to go and fight in the bullfight. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. He's just doing his own thing, isn't he? One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Look at these guys. Look at their hats. Which one do you like best? That one has kind of an angel, and she's touching a bull's horn, and that one has flowers. All different kinds of hats. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think they were very, very strong and fierce, and pick them. Look at those bulls jumping around and butting their heads, and the men are all watching, seeing which one is the strongest and fiercest, and who will get to go to the bullfight. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. There he goes. There's his tree. And he's saying hi to his friend the butterfly as he goes up the hill. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Uh-oh, that's Ferdinand sitting down. That is a bumblebee on a little clover. And look, the bumblebee looks worried, doesn't he? He says, uh-oh, what's coming? Uh-oh. Have you ever sat on a bumblebee or stepped on a bumblebee? I have. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Look at Ferdinand's face. That's about what it feels like to be stung by a bee. He says, ah, look at his big eye. Everything in the world stops and he just feels he got stung. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. Look at the little bee. The little bee says, hey, dude, how do you think I feel you sat on me? Now, do you remember there are people in the field watching the bulls? The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Look, the men are so happy they're kicking their legs up and throwing their hats. And Ferdinand is still saying, ouch, I got stung. They don't know that he's only jumping around and snorting because he got stung by a bee. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. There they go. See the bridge across the rocks? And they're going toward Madrid, and there's Ferdinand in the cart. And what do you think's going to happen next? You tell me some ideas? What do you think's going to happen next? He's going to Madrid. He's going to be in the bullfight. But we know Ferdinand doesn't really like butting heads and all that stuff. Think about it. What a day it was. Flags were flying. Bands were playing. Look at the men. Look at the people leaning out of their windows. There are those vultures again. We have turkey vultures here in Florida, don't we? Probably see them on the side of the road. And all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. Do you see the lovely ladies with flowers in their hair? Look at her flowers. Remember what Ferdinand likes to do with flowers? He likes to smell the flowers. They had a parade into the bull ring. Look at that fine horse. First came the banderilleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. There they are. That guy looks kind of cranky, doesn't he? Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. that little bird on the spear. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. There's the matador. There's the boy coming behind him holding his sword. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Who was the bull who came to the bullfights in Milan? Who did they pick? Ferdinand. There he is. Oh my goodness, he's peeking out of the doorway. He's not sure about what is going on here. He's never been to a bullfight. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderilleros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Oh my goodness, they're all afraid of Ferdinand. Ferdinand the Fierce. Is he really Ferdinand the Fierce? Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. You see him down there? And this is all the people in the stands at the bullfight. So many people. And look, there are our friends, the vultures, again up top. And he's walking into the middle of the ring. It's a very big ring. He looks so tiny. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. Do you smell the flowers? I'm outside. I smell pollen. But Ferdinand is just sitting, smelling the flowers. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderilleros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. It's the matador crying. Boo-hoo, because he can't show off. And there's somebody waving a cape, and everybody's trying to get Ferdinand to fight. And what does Ferdinand want to do? Sit and smell the flowers. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And there they go. There's the bull ring. They're leaving the bullfighting ring. You see Ferdinand in the cart? There are his friends, the birds, flying around. The beautiful mountains in the distance. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers, just quietly. He is very happy. Do you see him under the cork tree? Do you think he's very happy? How do you know? I know. We know he's happy because that was his favorite spot. And if you're in your favorite spot, you're probably happy. he got to go back where he wanted to be. The end. The end. And in this book, they've done, the illustrator has done pictures on the inside of the cover. So there's, see how that shows Ferdinand and he's mad. The children are coming to look at the poster for the bullfight in Madrid. Why was he mad? Why was he jumping around when the men came to find the fierce bull? Do you remember? Oh, he got stung by a bee. He sat on a bee. I remember. Not very good. That was our story for today. That was the story of Ferdinand. See it one more time. By Monroe Leaf, with illustrations or drawings by Robert Lawson. And do you know you can go online on the internet and connect to our library, and you can get library books on your computer or tablet or phone. And so I want you guys to look into doing that, and you can even get an app where you can get audiobooks where the books are read to you. And that's a very nice thing to do on these days when we're home. So I hope you're doing well. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.